Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
And welcome in Manitoba female U18 AAA hockey fans and any other female hockey fans that are tuning in to an all MFHL matchup in the penultimate game of the 2025 Central Plains Capital Showcase, live from Stride Place in Port La Prairie. As both of these two teams, the Westman Wildcats and Winnipeg Avros, facing off against each other for the first time here in 2025-2026. Of course, these two teams met each other in last season's MFHL playoffs in the quarterfinals, where it was the Winnipeg Avros that ended up defeating Westman in 3-1, moved on to the semifinals. Been a pretty good history between these two clubs. Back in the 2018-19 league finals, it was Westman and Winnipeg who matched up against each other in the finals, and Westman ended up sweeping them then. But that's years ago at this point, and now we're here in 2025-2026, where both these teams coming into this year, a lot of optimism, a lot of hope that they have contending championship quality type rosters. For Ashley Van Aglen, she returns to the bench for her 15th year with the Winnipeg Avros. And as for the Westman Wildcats, Carissa Kirkup, last year's Brandon Wheatking's coach, the bench boss, ends up taking over with her staff for this Westman Wildcats team this year. And big reason why, well, Brandon doesn't have a team at this level anymore. They did last year for only one season, but now gone back to 8 teams in the MFHL. As for these two teams, have shown a lot of skill, a lot of speed, good pace in their game this weekend. We get to see Adriana Almeida for the first time this weekend in the crease on our network. And then for the Westman Wildcats, they'll be starting goaltender number 35 in Indigo Stone. So we're going to have no national anthems for this matchup. So we're not going to hear commentary for the first few minutes as we sort something out behind the scenes. But it's the Avros, it's the Wildcats, Nolgren and Perkin taking the face-off against each other, and we're off. Seawalk shot glove down by Indigo Stone. This is 2-1 in favor of the Avros in the shot category right now. As for Winnipeg, shout out to Adeline Nolgren, who reached the 100-point milestone with the Winnipeg Avros in total games played yesterday in their win against the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy Buffaloes. Congratulations to Adeline, who is looking to be a huge part of this year's Avro success, as Perkin dishes this off to a D partner. In number 2, Quinn Tourdick, as that gloved up by Adriana Almeida. And for those that are just watching her play for the first time, Adriana Almeida, I know Eastman ends up winning their first championship since 2017-18 last season, but Almeida might have been the story of the playoffs. He's the biggest reason they end up even making it to the finals, and a big reason, one of the biggest reasons why they were able to push that final series last year against the Eastman Selects to 5 games after dropping the first 2 games of that best-of-5 championship round. As this over to Folster, as Folster tried to get it back to Kapusta, who Kapusta had a hat-trick yesterday on the network to start things off against the Interlake Lightning. Folster will lose this puck. It's Lavely who picks it up. Oh, off the post, Lavely. Great chance on Stone as her and Green work down low. Tried to turn this up to Turner at the point, but instead turned over to Lucy Waldner. Has that knocked away now onto Turner's stick. Turner off the boards to Freeze. Freeze up to Lavely. Lavely trying to maneuver her way in past Fry, but a great shutdown by Fry. But not a clean shutdown, as it ends up being, I guess it was a clean shutdown. It's actually Lavely who ends up going to the box. Lavely tries to make a move on Fry, trying to go inside-outside. Fry stands her up pretty well. Lavely a bit frustrated, I guess. Retaliates a bit. At least the refs thought so. And it'll bring us to our first power play of the game. Brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. As we bring our power play graphic onto the screen, just underneath. My mistake. That's on me, everybody. Mixed up the teams myself there. As for the Avros, they are on the penalty kill here coming up. Brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. As Ivy Perkin been really impressive through this weekend. Has it knocked away off her stick. It's to Waldner. Sends that down low. Died just enough for Perkin to get it back. Tried to feed it in front to Holmesen. Now from the point, that blast blocked up. That was Baranek who took the shot. As for number 12, Addison Hanwood, wearing a bit of a different jersey. Seemingly looks like she doesn't have hers. I believe that's Addison Hanwood. Please correct me in the chat if I am wrong. That's what I have on my game sheet right now. Is this passed over to Lucy Waldner? Waldner up top to Schneider, but Schneider has her pocket picked by Adeline Nolgren. Adeline Nolgren sends this down one-handed. It's the Avros penalty kill. So far, so good. 33 seconds left in the box for Callie Lavely. Stretched up to number 7 in Hirbenik. Is that unable to be kept in by Schneider? Tried to hold the line, tried to block that up. It's over to Liver. Liver tied up along the boards. Peyton Smith in to help, number 11 for this Wildcats team. Played up to the point where Franklin meets number 9 in Kapusta. 5 seconds remaining on the Westman power play, and a great start for the Avros as Lavely will join right into the scrum along the boards. Be there for support, actually, hovering around that scrum as the refs finally blow it dead. The play, that is, with 14:29 left in this first period of action. You're watching G-Show game day. An all-MFHL matchup on the second last game of the 2025 Central Plains Capitals Showcase. As Seawalk sends this in on net. Indigo Stone, forced to cover things up. We've had a chance to take a look at both goaltenders now on the network. As Stone started on Friday. Yesterday we saw Shannon Heesen net against the Central Plains Capitals. As this down low, Seawalk sends it to the net. Denied there by Stone. So it'll be to Robin Clausen. Clausen to the middle. That shot from the high point. Just outside the ringette line. Not able to get there as it's blocked up. It's just at the blue line. This remains in the Westman zone just for a split second. Westman works back D to D. So they go off the boards, turned over. As Beatty sends this in past the red line. She goes off for a change. Stone leaves this for a teammate. Number 18, Baranek. Baranek to defend now against Seawalk. Seawalk passes to Lavely, whose shot ends up going off the side of the net. As this turned over again, Freeze now trying to walk in and shoot that, but good defensive stick by Schneider to shut that down. Schneider taken down in the corner by Freeze. No penalty called. That played towards the front of the net, but denied by Westman as they'll make their way back down into the Avro zone. That was Tourdick. Held in at the line by Mann. Mann surveys options and now gets it back. A little give and go with her teammate there, number 17 in Holmson. So this fired out by the Avros down the left side. As Mann spins and fires onto the stick of Robertson. Robertson has Perkin with her. Robertson establishing the zone, down low, tries to send it to the net, paddled away by Almeida. Turner taking this away, sends a pass up to Freeze. Freeze, her pass cross ice, not going to be able to connect. It's intercepted and sent right back down by the Wildcats. To Turner. Turner to Nolgren, who Nolgren tried to sidestep the Wildcats player there, but ended up losing the puck. It's back in the Avro zone, played D to D to Turner. Turner to Nolgren, but Nolgren can't handle that cleanly. Folster on the back check. Physical play knocks down a Westman Wildcat. Avros still search to break this out, and they finally do. It's Kapusta trying to dangle her way past number 2 in Ivy Fry. Kapusta still on this puck. Loses it along the boards. Rimmed around. Reverse attempt for Westman, but that fails as Beatty cuts it off. Pinching up from her deep position at the blue line. It's Robin Clausen. Now sent onto the stick of Folster. Folster surveys up to the point, but decides she likes it better down low. She sent it to Kapusta there, rubbed out along the boards. It's onto the stick of Waldner. Waldner. Off of the skate, that pass went for Peyton Smith, who just sends it into the Avro zone. Westman gets a fresh set of legs out. It's for the Wildcats. 2 players in the area of Fraser. As Fraser sends that in deep, Ava Schneider spins and tries to fire this up the boards, but once again clogged up well by this Winnipeg Avros side. So all the way down, back into the Avro zone as Fraser takes it behind her own net. Ends up turning this over though. It's on the stick of Hubernick. Hubernick up to the point. Schneider just receives that pass, keeps it in, back to Hubernick. Hubernick down low to Tourdick. Tourdick out in front, pass there, but shot denied by Almeida. In tight. Number 35 had to be sharp across to Schneider. That shot right into the logo by Almeida. She tracked it well. So we'll give us a stoppage with 10:34 remaining. And a scoreless first period so far. Brought to you by Cannes Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. As the Avros able to work this out. Lexington Green shut down that right side closest to the Avros bench. It'll be Cadence Mann, who sends this up to Holmsen. Holmsen tries to send that out, but unable to. Holmsen with the hat trick in the win for the Wildcats on Friday. Perkin played a big part in that Wildcats victory as Perkin takes it around the net, continues to protect it as she played it to Holmsen, unable to connect with number 17. Slavely shut down just at the blue line. Jenna Turner sends this in deep. This will be off the backboards to Franklin. Franklin, that pass just off the stick. Number 11 and Smith. The Avros control once again as they send it in deep into the Wildcat zone. It'll be to Fraser. Folster, sorry. Rims this around. She tried to get that over. As Nolgren strips away Smith from the puck. Nolgren looking to challenge the Westman D, but ends up losing a handle on the biscuit. This will be sent in by Rui Folster as she goes off for a change. As Kelsey Dinez down the right wall. She'll make her way down low. Shielding the spot, protecting it. Nice pass to Seawalk, but just in her skate in the slot. Pass had to be a bit finer. Dinez back on it down low. Sends it to Robin Clausen. Somehow that pass makes its way through as Dinez gets it to Clausen again. Clausen, they can't put that towards the net. Tried to, but fanned on it. She's still strong on the puck there. Off of Indigo Stone's shoulder. Comes back down at the side of the net as the Avros continued the pressure. So it'll be picked up by Turdik. Played it, I believe, to number 7 in Hubernick, but stripped away of the puck was Hubernick. The Avros make their way back down. That pass just off the mark for Beatty as Lavely will intercept this. Lavely fends off the check-in of Turdik and ends up sending that off the shoulder of Indigo Stone. Nice shot there from number 8 in Lavely. Shot from the point turned aside by Stone again. With 7:31 remaining in this first period of action. The draw to the glove hand side of Indigo Stone, won by Ivy Perkin. So it'll be played D to D to Franklin, who Franklin fires this back to Perkin. Perkin has a teammate with her in Robertson, but that pass just off the mark for number 4. Holmsen also out there. Intended pass to Perkin, gets it back, tries to shovel it to Holmsen. Loose puck, still there within sticks of the Avros, banging away at it is Robertson, and Robertson will get loose down low. Send this puck up to the point to Franklin. Franklin back up to Perkin, but Perkin mispass there back to Franklin. Don't see that much. And here's a potential break for the Avros, trying to catch Westman off guard, but a great defensive recovery by number 18 in Baranek. As Westman goes off for a change, the Avros will also change some of their players. It's the only one still out there. I believe actually, no, they did get a full line change. As Nolgren at the point. Nolgren back to Turner. Turner, her shot fired on net. Save made by Stone. It's the rebound knocked into the corner. The Avros, it's Folster. Tries to get this cycle going. Played down low to Kapusta. Kapusta tried to reverse that behind her back, but pass wouldn't get there. Cut off trying to get it to Nolgren. It's Nolgren currently tied up just at the top of that right face-off circle. Kapusta gets it loose. Now it's to Hancher. Claire Hancher sends it down low to Kapusta. Quick pass to the captain Nolgren as the Avros go to work well in this cycle game. In the latter half of this first period, Beatty, her shot fired on net, tipped wide by number 13 in Folster as Folster challenges man in the corner. Now with support from Kapusta as Kapusta was held up a bit. as this Avros side continuing to work this Westman Wildcats side, and Westman finally able to get it out. So the bench was hollering for them just to dump it. They'll be able to get a fresh line change out again. See if the Avros can hem this unit in for the Wildcats. Wildcats looking for the reverse effect, trying to hem this Avros side in now as they try to force a turnover off of the forecheck. Board battle, Hubernick. Out there was Turdik, as well as number 6 in Chloe Estelle. It's for Hubernick. Plays this down low to Ivy Fry. Fry up to Turdik. Turdik's cross-ice pass going to be off the mark there, intended for Astle. As that pass from Robin Clausen, too far for Dinez. It's played up the boards quickly to Turdik. Turdik has support with her, decides to just fire this in and go off for a change. This quick line changes, something that it looks like Westman is emphasizing here in this first period. It goes all the way down as Perkin scoops this up behind the Avros goal line. Now to the left face-off circle, Perkin fanned on an attempted pass. So now it's Lavalley leading the rush, heading the other way to Lexington Green, back to Lavalley, to the net off the side of it. Number 8 goes as Lexington Green loses that. Puck battle down low, had her stick tied up. Turner from the point has that intercepted by Ivy Perkin, who just passed the red line, decides to send this in. The Wildcats superstar and her line mates go off for a change. Delayed high stick called off by the referee, as it was the Avros who touched it up. Now Lexington Green lost an edge on the ice, almost allowed for Westman to break out the other way with numbers. This will be played up the boards, just out of the reach for Peyton Smith. Rachel Liver tried to get it to her. So we to Hancher. Hancher up ice for Folster, but that just out of Folster's reach up the wall. This will be sent up that same side by the Wildcats. Here's Kapusta. She can really dance with the puck. Loses an edge in the corner, but still able to keep possession of it. Got it to Nolgren, up to the point to Beatty. Beatty, her shot, save made by Stone as Kapusta given a little payback. Not that Westman player to the ice. That shot from the point by Fraser ends up being smothered by Stone. With 2:36 remaining in this first period of action, 10 to 4, the favor goes to the Avro in terms of shots. As for the Westman Wildcats, been hemmed in their zone frequently for the last few minutes. This is Avros forecheck. The cycle has come to life. Puck ended up going into the net, but illegally from behind the net. So, of course, that doesn't count as a goal. We will get a face-off coming up. Right to the glove hand side of Stone. Robin Clausen ends up losing that draw. It's won by Westman. So it'll be played up in the direction of Turdik, but all the way down for an icing. This will be. And for the Avros, they're doing a really good job of winning their battles along the boards, taking away space for Westman, who it's looking like they want to chip and go right now to create transition. One of the ways they've been trying to create transitions out of their own end. So it will be interesting to see. Carissa Kirkup, not sure gets talked about enough, but her in-game decision-making, able to manipulate how her team plays with the system she runs, and just one of the best coaches in the league at adjusting on the fly from what we saw last year. She's Team Manitoba head coach for a reason at this year's U18 Nationals, which that'll be a lot of fun to follow coming up. November 3rd will be the start date for that tournament. Newfoundland and Labrador this year. for the Nationals. As Perkin in for support, takes away down low, up top to the point. That's the Cannon's man. Cannon's man, that shot unable to make its way through as it's blocked by good Avros traffic. It's up to the point to Man again. Just holds it in at the line. Man, just at this back off to Robertson. Robertson tries to dish that to the slot for Holmsen, but denied there. A good defensive sticks by the Avros as we're into the final minute of play of the first period of action. Adriana Almeida out of her own net to play this puck. Dishes it over to Beatty. As Beatty being pressured there by Henwood. As for Lucy Waldner out on the shield maneuver away to the net where she challenges Almeida, but Almeida comes away with a big stop. .9 seconds remaining now on the first period clock. We're also going to be showing you the actual scores from yesterday during the intermission of this one, so that'll be what's on screen along with our promo screens. So we'll get set for the second period call very soon here. It's Callie Lavallee had that sticked away. Lexington Green, good support. Got it to a D partner, and now Green gets it back from Freeze, but mishandling the puck were the Avros in the neutral zone. This allows for Holmsen to take that pass from Perkins, sent it off the pad of Almeida. The nice kick save there from number 35. Lavallee just past the red line, sends this in deep, chasing this down, but Ava Snyder will be on it first with 5 seconds left. Unable to get it out was Westman. Clausen couldn't do much with it at the line. And with that 10-6, the shot's in favor of the Avros, but it's scoreless. Tied at 0-0 after the first 20 minutes. Thought that Westman throughout that period started to see the tide turn against themselves as the Winnipeg Avros really got their cycle going and offensive pressure amplified for them in the second half of that period. But the Avros haven't found a way to be able to break through yet. Indigo Stone has stopped all 10 shots she's faced, and when Westman's had offensive zone opportunities, they've looked dangerous too. 6 shots for them, put up on Adriana Almeida. This period was brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. We're going to have their commercial playing at some point during this intermission break. But as for now, we send it to the second intermission, or the first intermission, heading into the second period. Scoreless tie here in Game 21, the penultimate game, the 2025 Central Plains Capital Showcase between the Winnipeg Avros and the Westman Wildcats.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
And welcome back in, female hockey fans, as the Winnipeg Avros and Westman Wildcats skated to a scoreless tie after the first 20 minutes of play. On G-Show Game Day, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terraco, Movement Fitness and Performance, as well as Elite Prospects, as we take a look at Movement Fitness and Performance there. An independent local Winnipeg gym. Be sure to check them out at 1111 Winnipeg Avenue, building number 3 today. For Elite Prospects, the most informative hockey player database on the web. Be sure to check them out at eliteprospects.com today. As Adriana Almeida is set to lead the Winnipeg Avros out. It's first time seeing her this weekend on the network in action. So treat to watch her play last year too, throughout that finals run and just throughout the MFHL's regular season, making a name for herself as her team making their way onto the ice. The Westman Wildcats, we fall in shortly after. As it's Indigo Stone leading her team out, getting the start today. Coming up, by the way, at 1:30 after this game, we got the Eastman Selects taking on the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy Buffaloes. But for now, both of these teams looking for the first goal. They've had some good chances. Thought the Avros played an exceptional period as it went along, hemming in this Wildcats team very well, and creating some great opportunities for themselves. Just unable to capitalize on their chances so far. Get them past Indigo Stone. As for Westman, they ended up surviving those chances. Created some good offense for themselves at points throughout that period. A team that's got a lot of skill up front this season. So we're going to start off with no announcing probably for the first little bit of this period again, as we'll be showing you the game, no doubt. We're officially underway for period number 2. So we got our business taken care of. Both of these teams looking to take care of business in these next 20 minutes of play. Who gets a go-ahead goal to start things off to draw first blood in this one? As it's played down low, Collins tied up with Perkin. Perkin wins the puck battle up to Holmsen. Her shot unable to get on net with any real purpose, as she was disrupted on that shot. Good stick in the lane from the Avros. So they're ready for Holmsen. And Holmsen, that's a spot she's been quite comfortable in this weekend. The slot area, that time in the high slot, would like to have that back, I'm sure. This is up to man at the point. Passes to Perkin. Perkin towards the net. Holmsen tied up by an Avro in front, as Perkin was looking for that redirection. It's up at the point, held in by Man. Man sends this in deep, all the way down into the Avro zone. Held at the line there by number 12 for the Wildcats in Henwood, but turned over the other way. Nolgren giving chase. She's out there with Kapusta and Folster up to the point. It's Jenna Turner. Her shot fired, blocked by Waldner, but Kapusta picks up the loose puck. What a move by Kapusta! Turned aside off that backhand chance by Indigo Stone. It's past the red line, sent in by Waldner. She goes off for a change. It'll be picked up by Claire Hancher, as Hancher almost forgets the puck. Recovers it past Lavely, but she has her pocket picked right away by Fry, as Westman in possession of it now. Peyton Smith across to Franklin, as Callie Franklin ended up having that turned over. D to D, the Avros go. Turner, turned up ice to Lavely. Lavely gets taken out near the center in the neutral zone. No call on the play, of course. These refs letting them play here. Continuing to. So there's only been one penalty in this game, and that was to a Winnipeg Avro and Callie Lavely. As Turner trying to turn away from the pressure down low, but a nice job by Astel to come in, or Astel, for this Westman Wildcats squad. Paddled away by Almeida. Turdick, first one on the puck down low. Plays it to the point, Perkin. A little deception before shooting, that goes off the side of the net, as Almeida not challenged there. Perkin quickly down low to Turdick. Turdick sends that out in front, but unable to get it there. Sorry, that was number 7, Urbanik, who tried to send it. Not Turdick, as that shot turned aside by Almeida off of the chance from Cassia Baranek. She gets a tap on the shin pad from number 19 and Ava Schneider. As for Ivy Perkin, wins this draw back. This is Baranek, sends it all the way in deep. It'll be to Lucy Waldner. Waldner up top to Schneider. That shot kicked out by Almeida. Rebound to the point, as Baranek tried to send it in deep. Gets it to Holmsen. Holmsen to Waldner, but that pass again disrupted by an Avro stick. It was Beatty's that time. It's number 4 made the play. Take that pass away. Perkin trying to put the moves on Beatty. Got past her, but couldn't get past Inez, as Beatty continues to push her way up ice. She loses that puck. Going off for a change now. Got some fresh legs on the back end for this Avro side. It'll be to Collins. Collins sends this in. Caught by a Westman Wildcat, who sends it across ice to Holmsen. Holmsen to Waldner, who was covered pretty well there by Nolgren. As Waldner sends this in deep, goes off for a line change. Allows for the Avros to skate with it a bit in their own end. Seawalk closed off right away by Robertson. Nolgren in for support. She shovels this puck just past the blue line, but sent in just as quickly by the Westman Wildcats. Will be to Roy Folster, as Folster looked to build up some speed up that right side. Tried to take it herself, but instead has it stripped away, as Nolgren backhands this out off the boards. It's a foot race. Player will win it. This Man Turns it up over the boards, though, as Nolgren made her way down towards the hash marks. Up at the point, Leah Clausen. That shot fired. It's blocked. A rebound chance put wide of the net by Folster. As for Westman, looking to break out, looking to alleviate the pressure. Sure, they don't want a repeat of what happened last period. So in that second half of the first, was all Avros on the pressure. It's back to Callie Franklin. Received that pass from Fry. Callie Lavely in on the forecheck, almost forces a turnover. As Lexington Green forces a turnover off of her skate. The Freeze joining the battle to try to get this puck jarred loose. She does just that. Sends this cross ice. No one there for the Avros. So it allows for Westman to easily flip this out. It'll be all the way down for an icing. As for Carissa Kirkup, just saw her communicating with the players that are on the ice. Quite a challenge that Westman has had so far here today against a Winnipeg Avros team. We talked about it. They play with speed, they play with pace, and a team that has really gotten their forecheck and cycle going. Been strong along the walls in this game. As this goes back into the Westman Wildcats end. Pass. A bit of a misfire as this goes all the way down into the Avro zone. Almeida steers this to Turner as Turner. Stretch pass, can't quite connect with Green. As there to intercept it was Baranek. Baranek to Holmsen. Holmsen through a screen. That shot turned aside by Almeida. So Almeida was able to kick out that left pad. Baranek still working near where the puck was moments ago. As this pass towards the middle, fired and turned over. Back into the Westman zone as they go D to D. Baranek surveys options up ice, decides to flip it towards the Avros D. Is this caught by Beatty? Ends up turning that over. Holmsen, her shot off the 5-hole. On that save by Almeida. As Perkin back on the puck. She tries to slide that puck across, but ends up being blocked by an Avros skate. So it'll be back to Perkin. Perkin tries to shimmy shake an Avro, but instead loses a handle on it, and it's turned over. Dinez spins, fires a pass to the slot. The Avros can't find the puck, though, as Perkin chipped this to herself, past the red line, running out of real estate, just sends this in. She goes off for a change. Robertson closing in on Beatty. Beatty reverses this back to Fraser. That chip attempt by Seawalk not successful. Trying to get it out. Finally does get out, and Seawalk will chase this down. Seawalk looking to go 1-on-2 with the Wildcats defense. Support with her now, but puck taken away. A bit too late getting there were her Avros teammates. She really had no options but to skate that puck or dump it in deep, which chose the first option as Almeida out of her own net. Plays this to Leah Clausen. Almost a dangerous pass by Clausen. It was a dangerous pass that could have ended badly, that is. But the Avros, doesn't matter for them. They turn up the other way. Nolgren, Kapusta head into the net. Great defensive play by the outstretched stick. I believe that's Callie Franklin. That shot into the breadbasket of Stone. She covers things up. In the second period, brought to you by Elite Prospects, one of our two sponsors for this second, the most informative hockey player database on the web today. Be sure to visit their website at eliteprospects.com for more details. As for Adeline Nolgren, in on the draw, ends up losing it, shoveled out by the Wildcats now, is given chase. Holmsen on Collins. Holmsen bearing down on Collins, down below the Avros goal line. As for Leah Clausen, sends that up to Folster. Folster's pass up the middle, turned over. So the Avros look to turn it up ice now. Nolgren sends this in deep down the right side. First one on it will be Snyder down below for this Westman squad. For Seawalk, she has that stripped away along the boards. Still continuing on the pressure as she battles with Snyder in the corner in the Westman Wildcats zone. As you can see there. So now both teams having support in there. Perkin right behind Robin Clausen. Is Robin Clausen able to get this puck? Trying to play it towards the point, but unable to. That won't go as the Avros forced to regroup in the neutral zone. They head back into their own end, playing this D-to-D 2 times before skating it up as Hancher. As Hancher, just before the blue line, sends that in deep. Dinez tripping over the blue line just a moment ago. As this all the way down from Westman. No icing called on the play. So it'll be the Avros look to play this up ice. Robin Clausen scans the area, looks for options, decides the best one is to send it down low. It'll be caught by Ivy Perkin, who goes to Robertson. This gets played cross ice. That pass from Liver. Number 10 ended up misfiring for the Wildcats. As this picked up off the boards by this Westman Wildcats side, trying to play this cross ice, but instead, that block by an Avro was a Westman defender. This puck scooped up in the neutral ice now. It's Fraser who makes her way in. Fraser tries to cut in, eliminated that chance. It was the Westman Wildcats who did that. It's played back into the corner. Ivy Fry has this taken away by Lavalley now. Lavalley tries to dangle her way to the net, but shut down well by Callie Franklin as Fraser plays this back to Green. Lavalley trying to take this away from Franklin. So those two have been going at it all game long, battling each other in the corners. And pretty much every time Callie Lavalley's coming down on a rush chance for her squad. As for Folster, plays this back to Collins as Collins takes it around her neck, trying to dangle past a Westman Wildcat, but great job on the forecheck from the Wildcats as they have support as well in that area. But the Avros able to evade it as they try to transition up ice. Bit of a miss pass though. They gotta try again. Folster to the middle. She shoots off the, I think, shoulder of Stone. Thought it might have went off of her helmet as this Clausen ends up losing possession of the puck right at the line. It's sent down low, back into the Avro zone. With 8 minutes remaining in the second period of action, we still got a third period to bring you after this one. In a game that is still looking for their first goal scorer. Will it be the Wildcats or the Avros backdoor feed, but denying that. A great stick by Clausen. Perkin in front trying to get her stick loose. But a great defensive play by Collins to shut that down. Going stick on stick with Ivy Perkin. The shots 13-13 in this scoreless tie. The draw won by the Wildcats. Held in at the point is Baranek, who sent it back down low. Dinez pass up the middle. Ends up just getting out of the zone past the blue line. Back into the Avros zone pretty quickly. As that pass from Hancher turns it over. It's Baranek. That shot blocked away by Almeida. Baranek takes a spill into the boards too. Lost an edge. Perkin down low. Had that puck underneath her, so we got a whistle and a stoppage in play in this period, brought to you by also Movement, Fitness and Performance, an independent local Winnipeg gym. Sure to check them out at 1111 Winnipeg Avenue, building number 3, or check out their website at movementfp.ca. So this up the wall for Dinez. She clashes Number 10 in Liver. Stenez. Shimmy shakes Robertson. Gets her off her trail. As Robertson was hard on number 15. For Hancher. Sending this up to Seawalk. Seawalk has it taken away. Westman having to be careful to not go offside here as Hubernick trying her best to stay onside. Finally does enter into the Avro zone just inside their blue line. Good support there though for the Avros. Causes a turnover. But Westman able to keep this in. They send it in deep. To Hubernick trying to spin away from the Avros. Checking in for support is Turdick. And her shot turned aside by Almeida. Puck remains along the boards. Seawalk plays this out, but Hedwood right there to take it away. Patience as she waits for the team to clear for the delayed offside. It's sent back in as the Avros have possession. Sent up to Green. Green able to hold onto this puck. Another nice move by Green. Keeps it on the backhand, but harassed there along the boards by Henwood. This will be Ivy Perkin. She looks to get the speed as Perkin down the left side. Almost cut off there by number 10 in Fraser. Number 7 in Green. Also in the area. Covering Fry. Bad shot from the point. Tipped on net. Turned aside by Almeida. It's now 15-13 in shots in favor of the Westman Wildcats. Much better second half of this period compared to the first. Where they're giving the Avros a taste of their own medicine right now. Hemming this team in. It's the Tides starting to turn maybe in the momentum of this game. It's a face-off coming up right inside the Avro zone. Tie up on the face-off draw. This will be won by Liver. Liver taken out in the corner, but in for support. So Wildcat teammate Fry tries sending it back down to Smith. Couldn't. As Westman able to enter into attack again as they cleared the zone for the delayed offside. Nolgren tries feeding this pass up to Folster. Folster finally does get it. It's Folster down the left side. Has this puck taken away by Smith. Smith lost sight of it. It gets to the point to Clausen. Clausen across for Collins. Collins down low. Number 9 in Kapusta in the corner. Works this back up to Collins. Collins shot deflects way wide of the net. Of course, that wide shot not number 6's intention, I'm sure. Kapusta wheels down low. That pass can't fit through to get to the slot. It's all the way back down to the Avro zone. Robertson blocks that initial breakout chip. Now chipped up to Seawalk. Seawalk shot goes wide. Harmlessly misses the net for this Westman squad as Dinez puts on the moves. Just before the ringette line, sends it in deep. As Dinez able to force a turnover on the forecheck into the slot. Robin Clausen couldn't find a way to let that go. It looked like a 1T was signed up. Or was set up, not signed up, was set up perfectly. There's 3:17 remaining in this period. We're still scoreless in this game between the Westman Wildcats and the Winnipeg Avros. The Avros in the offensive zone for a face-off draw. Draw will be won. Now sent out up the left side by this Westman squad. So the Avros feed this up to Lavalley. Got that pass from Turner as Lavalley off the boards ends up getting to the puck first down low as Lavalley kicks it up to her inner skates. Protects this on the backhand out wide. She sends this in deep as it rims around the Westman zone. As Lexington Green slow to get to the bench. Hoping that she ends up being okay. As for the Winnipeg Avros, a bit more on their heels this period in the second, as this goes down for an icing. And for the Avros, so far undefeated this weekend. I believe so are the Westman Wildcats. So it's the battle of the 3-0s in this game here. It certainly looked like these two teams have lived up to their results so far this weekend. So we're in a scoreless 0-0 tie first. As Robin Clausen loses his at the line. It'll be to Fraser. Fraser tried to get that up to Dinez, but over top of her stick on the saucer pass. And that went as Cannon's man being smothered in the corner there by Dinez, in for support. A teammate, number 6, and Estelle. Got that to Henwood. The minute 28 remaining. This flip towards the Avros decor. Blocked up by Ivy Perkin. As Ivy Perkin remains out there along with Homesen and Waldner, the top line out for this Wildcat squad right now. So it'll get to Folster. Folster down low to Kapusta. Kapusta back up top to Nolgren. Nolgren puts on the brakes, sends a pass cross ice to Collins, but Collins couldn't keep that in as we're into the final minute of play of the second period of action. A scoreless hockey game so far. So this gets flipped into the neutral ice. And back down into the Avro zone. Adeline Nolgren looks to just dump this in, but unable to. Kapusta also in there to help out along the wall, but it'll be Westman who ends up getting it back to an Avros defenseman in Collins. Collins up the middle to Nolgren with 30 seconds left. Nolgren to Kapusta. Kapusta shot blocked well there by Baranek. Kapusta, a hat trick yesterday morning against the Interlake Lightning. It's looking dangerous there. She remains in the corner. Homesen quickly up to Waldner. Waldner on the backhand. Shields this from Lavalley before sending it in deep. It's Almeida out of her own net as the remaining seconds tick off the scoreboard. And still a 0-0 hockey game. 16-14, the shots in favor of the Winnipeg Avros. Much better progression to the period for the Westman Wildcats in that one. Like I mentioned, gave the Avros a taste of their own medicine from that first where they hemmed them in. But still, both these teams have been unable to solve the opposition's goaltenders. For Westman, they've been unable to solve Almeida. For the Avros, they haven't been able to solve number 35 and Indigo Stone. So we take a look at both her and Almeida giving each other a fist bump. Some friendly competition on this Sunday morning. Actually in the afternoon now as it's 12:20. We'll be back shortly here. We'll throw it to the score screen just to show you all how the first 2 days have gone down so far here. The Central Plains Capitals 2025 Showcase, brought to you by Kent Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Elite Prospects, Movement Fitness and Performance, and Terrico. We'll be back shortly here, folks. Enjoy the intermission. back here for the upcoming third and final period of game 21 of 22 at this year's Central Plains Capitals Showcase, the 2025 Showcase. That has, of course, been here at Stride Place Arena for yet another year. Beautiful facility. Can't thank tournament organizer Ferdy Nellison enough for his hospitality and allowing us to broadcast here this weekend for an event that he cherishes, holds very close to his heart, and loves very much. And I think that these teams have made him proud this weekend. Like, aside from the one blowout that we ended up seeing yesterday, as we take a look at the scores here, like, we've seen some really entertaining games. Very competitive, very close until the very end. We've seen a couple of ties here on the network too. Getting to see, of course, the Prince Albert Northern Bears in action and the Weyburn Goldwings, who gave the Manitoba opponents they faced off against everything they could handle and more. And yeah, just great to see all these teams, what they've been able to bring to the table, as we get a first look at all of these teams for the first time on our network this year. Of course, maybe we see one of these Saskatchewan teams in April somewhere in Manitoba, as we will be the exclusive broadcast partner for this year's West Regional Series, which I'm sure the season's going to fly by and that will be here before we know it. But as the Avros make their way out onto the ice, they're followed by the Westman Wildcats. And thought during that second period, Westman did to the Avros what the Avros did to them in that first period. As the period went along, Westman started to get more of a cycle going, a more sustained cycle, and more sustained offensive zone pressure, and we're creating a lot of great chances against number 35 for this Winnipeg Avros side in Adriana Almeida. As for the Winnipeg Avros, I think looking to get back to controlling the majority of the play in this period, much like in period number 1. For Ashley Van Egelen and her team, looking for some consistency in their game to end things off this weekend, as this is definitely the lowest scoring game we've had a chance to watch so far here this weekend. 0-0 through the first 20 minutes of action, and both teams doing a really good job of limiting shots, even though, the offensive zone time has been tilted in each team's favor at certain points of these periods so far. But only 16-14 are the shots. Both teams doing a good job of shutting things down inside the slot area, the crease as well. We'll see if one of these teams can break through to be able to give themselves, which for, whatever team does it, be the first lead of this hockey game. So the referees currently setting up the nets. This game so far has been brought to you by Canton Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Movement Fitness and Performance, and Elite Prospects. This third period of action coming up will be brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Been a tightly contested game here, still scoreless. Very clean too, as there's only been one penalty that has been called in this one from our knowledge. And as we get underway here for period number 3, it's the Avros with the puck in their own end. Leah Clausen fires this over to Collins. Collins to Kapusta, off of her stick into the neutral zone. Snyder tries to play this puck up ice, but instead meets the body of Rui Fulster. As at the line, Collins holds, turns it over, and this gets played over to Waldner as Perkin, just inside the blue line, fires that shot. It's turned aside by Almeida. Line change for Westman. The Avros trying to capitalize on it, but unable to. Callie Franklin been so steady in this matchup. This makes another smart play, fires this in deep, try to get a cycle going. Franklin, though, loses position now, but gets it back. What a recovery on Lavely to eliminate that chance, potentially going the other way for the Winnipeg Avros. As for Leah Clausen, she'll go for a skate. The defenseman cuts in. Clausen, her shot blocked by Mann as number 5 and Cadence Mann. Of course, returning for another year on this blue line to her final season, as this is her graduating year. As the Wildcats work it back up, it's Astle. Tries to fire a shot away, but Hancher right there to deny it. She went one-on-one with the Avros defenseman. As Lexington Green whacks away at this. It's to Lavely. Lavely cuts to the inside, looking to go on one-on-one with Mann. Lavely gets stripped of the puck, knocked off her stick of number 5, or by number 5, and Cadence Mann. Odd pass from Henwood off the skate of Seawalk. Gets it to Dinez. Dinez tried to find that behind her back in her skates, but unable to. Henwood carries it up the other way now. Henwood on the left point, shot wide of the net. As that off the backboard's a rebound shot on net and turned aside by Almeida. It was Quinn Tourdick. Ended up getting that shot on net. Now 18-14. Westman leads in the shot category in this one. It's this to Waldner. Waldner to the slot for Perkin. Didn't get what she wanted on that shot. So it's easily paddled to the side by Adriana Almeida. Is this up the boards? Unable to hold it in. It's number 19 in Schneider. Goes D-to-D to Baranek. Baranek fires this in as her and Schneider go off for a change. Almeida over to Beatty. Beatty up to Dinez. Dinez across to Seawalk to the middle to Robin Clausen. Clausen shot from range. Misses the net. Occupied by Stone in the Westman zone as Westman looks to break out. Fed up to Waldner as Perkin Homesen head off for a change. Waldner, of course, remaining out there, taking this puck behind the net, waiting for reinforcements to come in for some support. She gets tied up along the wall by Beatty. Number 4 cutting her off. Waldner heads to the bench now. Westman tries playing it to the slot, unable to. Watch out! As Dinez. The reaction kind of priceless there. Don't think she meant to do that at all, obviously, and I think she's just happy she doesn't end up smoking anyone here. Luckily for us, we're pretty high up, so I hope I don't jinx myself and pucks don't start flying up here, but it's a 16:33 remaining. B. Folster up to Kapusta. Kapusta trying to slither her way through, lost the puck. It's back to Folster. Nolgren, right side, tries to dangle past Smith, but Smith shut her down well. Good active stick there from number 11. As Mann's pass up in the zone, picked off by the Avros. They play this to the slot, but unable to find that pass. So it was in between some Wildcat skates. The Avros, Westman, all on one side of the ice. The Avros looking to take advantage of this as Clausen hemmed in down the boards. Not close side as Clausen turns and fires, but rips it wide of the net. That shot from the point, Collins ends up firing wide, as it'll be picked up by Freeze. Freeze quickly over to Clausen. Clausen plays this down low. It goes off the end boards. Gets to Lavely. She's been dangerous with the puck today. Just hasn't been rewarded with that all-important go-ahead goal. She'd love to have that for her Avros squad. Be the one to do it, but this will go down for an icing. Will give us a face-off coming up to the glove-hand side, the right-hand side for us in the Avro zone. This is draw won by the Avros. Nice job by Lavely. So it's on to Lexington Green's stick. Green turns it up, or turns it over up the boards to the point. That shot deflected on that rebound, covered up right away by Almeida. It's a shot from the point by Schneider. Turner, D partner, and Cassia Baranek get called off for a change. Callie Franklin back out onto the ice with her D partner and Ivy Fry. As Franklin sends that in deep. It's to Turner. Turner, unable to turn that up ice, instead turned it over as Perkin scoops up the loose puck. Perkin backdoor home, Sen can't finish it. She fanned on that. Maybe if she was on her forehand, she has a better chance. That off of her backhand, now covered up by Almeida. And you just can't give Perkin that opportunity. You need to be, of course, not scared when you have the puck out there against her, but you gotta have more caution with it. It's gonna eat you up if you allow her to have an opportunity like that, where it looked like she was gonna shoot, but as she usually has this weekend, deceptive in passing that off. What could have been a phenomenal goal if it had connected. Kapusta, she looks to load up, shoots, fires, thought that trickled in off a stone in the back of the net. Instead, it went off the backboards. Kapusta building speed, still holding on to this puck like a string. What a move by Kapusta! Oh, what a save by Stone to deny the chance from the Rook. Is this sent all the way down? Number 9, showing her magic. It's with 13:57 left in this hockey game. It's going to be Liver. Chips it into the corner for herself. Gets it up to the point. Man unloads that shot. Rebound there. Nice defensive play by Fraser to knock it away as Almeida was out of position. Wildcat was right there too. This is down once again. It'll be to Peyton Smith. Up top to Henwood. Henwood, cross ice feed, D to D. To man into the slot, redirected wide as Smith took the shot. Henwood and man set it up. Ideally, or mainly man on that play. She's the one who made the pass. It's Henwood at the point. Holds this in. Now it's whacked out. Oh, almost trouble there for the Westman Wildcats. Almost too many girls on the ice. Would have been a potential costly delay of game penalty. But the ice opening up even more so here in this period. Henwood fends off a check as she looks to head towards the net. Henwood, her shot wide of it off the backboards. Rebound scooped up by Freeze. As Freeze tries to chip this past Franklin, but Franklin, steady as ever, able to take that away. And she sends that down deep into the Avros zone. Lexington Green off of a Wildcat skate and all the way down into their end, which means no icing called on the play. Franklin fires this up quickly down the right side, intended for Waldner. Waldner chasing this down, but this time it'll be an icing. With 12:11 remaining, you're watching the 2025 Central Plains Capital Showcase, Avros Wildcats, brought to you by Terrico for this third period. On gshowproductions.uscreen.io. Been a fun one this weekend, and we're getting great action at this showcase up until the very end. Tied 0-0 right now between the Avros and Wildcats. Nice blocker save made by Almeida. It's Turner on it. Down low. Turns it up the wall, but it'll be turned into an icing here coming up. As Indigo Stone keeping herself ready, herself focused down there. So we turn it over to the Avros end of the ice. Offensive zone face-off draw for the Wildcats. Quick shot off the draw from Tuerdick, but not the best quality on that shot. It's smothered up by Almeida right away. Astle takes the draw. Almost went it to Tuerdick again. Tuerdick down low. Sends a pass out and in front. Ends up to the slot. That shot through traffic. Rebound there. Still out. Almeida somehow able to stand her ground. It's the Wildcats all over the Winnipeg Avros in the final period of this hockey game. 26-16. The shot's now in favor of Westman. Avros, like last period, getting hemmed in as this period goes along in their own end. Attack from the Wildcats ferocious right now. 15, 16, and 17 out on the ice for the Wildcats. Pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen that actually. All line mates on the same line with numbers back to back to back to each other. And what a trio this has been this weekend for Westman, creating the bulk of their offense from what we've seen. Most dangerous chances, of course, is Mann plays this over. It's picked up by Henwood. Henwood shot scores! Henwood puts her Wildcats on top. 10:43 remaining. Finally able to get one past Adriana Almeida to give Westman the all-important one-goal lead in a game that's almost been scoreless for about 50 minutes. It's just the pressure was mounting. You could feel it. There had to be some sort of reward for the pressure and the play from Westman, and it would be rewarded right there with a great shot by number 12 and Addison Henwood. Perkin with the assist, and Cadence Mann with the secondary assist on the goal. The Avros recently with a great chance right after that goal scored, coming down on Stone. Is Westman, how do you defend this lead now? Do you continue to push or do you sit back? Be interesting to see how Carissa Kirkup's group plays this. Is this all the way down for an icing? I know the old school mentality in hockey is you sit back to protect the lead. I think for Westman, you definitely got to play smart. You don't want to see your D pinching as often as maybe they have in this game. But you also don't just want to dump pucks down and continue to ice it. Look, this Winnipeg Avros team, we've seen them already in this game create a lot of great pressure. Giving them any sort of momentum now could prove costly if you just decide to sit back and don't push for offense anymore. As Nolgren spins and fires this down low, keeping the cycle going to Folster. She plays that along the wall to Kapusta. Kapusta battling with Snyder. Snyder able to take that away from number 9. Played D to Baranek as Baranek's pass up and over the stick of number 7 in Rubinek. Nolgren gets this back. So that pass off the stick of Folster. Was Collins' intended target on that pass before she ended up going off. Clausen. D to Jenna Turner as Turner protects this puck strongly on her forehand. Off the boards, but turned over right into the Wildcat zone. As the puck still remains just outside of the Avros end. Dinez sends this to a wide open Seawalk. Seawalk, one cut move, another cut move to the outside. She just decides to try to chip this down, but unable to. Bad bounce along the end glass there. Disrupted its flow. As Cadence Mann, that's Homesen. Got stripped of the puck, but Waldner in for support. Scoops it up. Waldner drops this back to Liver. Liver Played it to Franklin. Franklin turned it over. It's Seawalk going one-on-one, but loses a handle on the puck. She was coming down on Ivy Fry down that left side. 8:24 remaining. This period, that pass into the skate of Waldner. Able to gather it and control this up to Liver. Liver dropped to Fry. Her shot deflects up into the air and into the end boards now. Westman played that down low, looking to get a cycle going, but the Avros take it away quickly. It's over to Hansher. Claire Hansher spins, turns, fires this over to Beatty below the goal line. Beatty off a glove. That pass went a man. And it will be a hand pass called as well. 7:50 remains in this period. As the Wildcats holding on right now to a 1-goal lead. It's the Avros looking to get back to an even score in this one. The next 7 minutes and 35 seconds. She's trying to kick it up to herself. Number 2 for this Avros side in Brooke Freeze. Down low, Lexington Green shovels this down. And number 8 in Lavely. Lavely over to Freeze. Freeze tied up down below as the Avros defenseman activated into the play. Freeze again has it on the backhand. Dishes this off to a D partner as that shot turned aside by Stone. This is back to Fraser. Fraser's shot turned aside by Stone there. We'll get a stop and play with 6:55 remaining in this period. As for the Wildcats, they turn this over at blind. Kapusta unloads a shot that just grazes the shoulder of Stone. A great job by Stone to turn it away. And now Perkin picks the pocket of Beatty. Perkin in on Almeida. Perkin denied by number 35. She sprawls out to keep that out. Big time stop from a big time player on another big time player. Perkin able to get possession of the puck after pickpocketing the Avros defense at the line. That aggressiveness, disruptive all afternoon long down below. Too close to the net. Perkin couldn't do anything with it. Gets it back to Waldner. Now up to the point for, I believe, Snyder. Back to Perkin. Rebound on net, but smothered up in the slot by Falster. As Falster ends up sending this into the Wildcats bench off of the stick of Baranik. For the Westman Wildcats, one of the younger teams in the MFHL this year. A lot of good returning talent. Of course, they get some help from getting players from the Brandon Wheat Kings. Of course, they got rookies coming into this year's team too, but a much more experienced group and a group that has a really good top 2 pairings. Franklin and Fry out there right now. As this down for an icing, but to have that and then to also have the pairing that we just saw in Snyder and Baranik, really scary if on the opposition trying to prepare for this team. Like, how do you deal with that all game long if they continue to play like they have today, which is hard on the puck, good gap play, and just making really good defensive plays. Speaking of the devil, that shot ends up just wide of the net. So it was a 2-on-1 developing. Franklin slid down to try to block the pass. Shot that was taken instead was turned away by Stone. Dinez ends up playing this to the middle, turned over. So it's Sent back in to the Westman end. No icing called on the play. Indigo Stone had her arm up. Trying to tempt the refs to call that one. With 4:53 remaining. In this third period, brought to you by Terrico. That shot from Smith, glove down, routine save made by Almeida. The 31st shot faced of the afternoon. It's top line back out for the Westman Wildcats. Perkin unable to win this draw cleanly back. It's intercepted by Freeze as Freeze tries to gain a step on Snyder, but Snyder too strong on the back check. The great defensive stop again. Snyder tries to play this up the wall, clogged up by a few Avros. Now it's Baranek who gets this, tries to rim it out, but line held by Winnipeg again. It's Hansher who sent it in deep. That off the stick of Freeze, or off the skates of Freeze, couldn't find it. That allows this to get back to the point. Wired right back in. Lexington Green cuts off the space along the wall. First is a turnover. Lavely received that pass, but couldn't receive it cleanly. As she goes to battle along the boards now. Lexington Green also in there. Schneider and Waldner for the Wildcats as Lavely makes her way down low to continue the forecheck. She'll go off for a change now as the Avros look to get fresh legs out in the final minutes of this period. 3:30 remaining now. Perkin stripped of the puck as she tried to cut to the middle. As Waldner dumps it in, top line for Westman goes off for a change. This shot, or pass, off the stick. A Folster turned over again as Westman past the red line, sent it in deep, so no icing called on the play. So this will be an Avros breakout again. Kapusta, right side, tight turns, delays, right near the blue line. Sent high slot now to Beatty at the point, sends this down low. Nolgren pins up a Wildcat along the boards, did more than that, too much body contact. In fact, it's going to be called a cross-check, and a rarity in this game this afternoon. We're going to be seeing a power play. Nolgren goes to the box. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. On this power play coming up, brought to you by Terrico. As for the Avros, they got a great penalty kill. We'll see if they can create some offense off of it and maybe stun the Wildcats here, but Wildcats just looking to close this out. Homesen whacked away at it twice, denied twice by Almeida in front. Backhand pass to Perkin, atop of the right face-off circle. Perkin dragging to the middle. Now opposite side of the offensive zone. Left that for a teammate who got it to Franklin. Franklin down low, back to Perkin. Back to Franklin. Franklin to Perkin again. Perkin tries locating Waldner in the slot, but that pass shut down. So the ringette line. Back up to Franklin. Whiffs on that pass, but strong enough to get to Perkin. Out in front. Loose puck still. The Avros somehow clear it out. Almeida had trouble finding it. Just over a minute remains here. This hockey game, or I should say, just under 2 minutes remains in this hockey game. Just under a minute on the Westman power play now. It'll be to Liver. Liver taking this in deep. Out wide. Passes to Hrubenik. As Hrubenik shot. Or Hrubenik's shot ended up being turned to the side. Henwood at the point. She spins away. Continues down low. Along the half wall now. Henwood back up to the point to Liver. Liver across. Snyder, that deflected in front, but Almeida, the top of her crease to make that save. with 20 seconds left on the Adeline Nolgren penalty. You gotta imagine Nolgren, she comes straight out of the box. Given how good of a weekend she's had, too. Heard she's had 9 points in 3 games heading into this one. So we're into the final minute of the play now. Our penultimate game of the 2025 CAP Showcase. Is that turned aside by Almeida. Five seconds left on the Collins penalty. Or on the Nolgren penalty, that is. As Collins, a defenseman for the Avros this year, Brooklyn Collins. And for Winnipeg, pretty much all talent from the city, except for Callie Lavallee, who reigns from West St. Paul. Vivian Seawalk reigns from Headingley, Manitoba. And Emily Beattie, born in Selkirk, Manitoba. As for this Westman Wildcats team, you look at the Brandon-born players that are on this roster. Shannon Hees, Quinn Tuerdick, Rachel Iver, Addison Henwood, Cassia Baranek as well on this year's team. And the rest coming from around the Hartney area in Westman. As I think there's a lot of hope heading into this season for a Westman Wildcats team that finished 7th place, believe it or not, in the league last year. That it's very rare that that's happened. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. They've always been around a top 4 team, but hey, every good thing comes to an end at some point, right? And last year that just happened to be the case for Westman. It was a down year, but not looking like a down year to start off. 45 seconds away from going undefeated on the weekend. 40 seconds remain as the Avros send this in. Almeida to the bench. So an extra attacker is on. Nolgren joining the attack down low. Trying to muscle her way through up the wall, but Westman Wildcat not having any of that. It's up to the point to Turner. Sends this cross ice to Collins. Collins whips this down low. It'll be to Lavallee. Delayed penalty actually on the play, as this finally touched up by the Westman Wildcats. So I believe that's why Almeida actually ends up heading to the bench. With that, for the first time in this game, the Avros go on to the power play. Brought to you by Terrico. With 16.4 seconds remaining, Ava Snyder in the box. You gotta have this draw here if you're Adeline Nolgren, out with Callie Lavallee, along with Roy Folster. It's won by Nolgren to Collins. Collins tries shooting that through, trickles to the right face-off circle. That shot high of the net. Collins tries to keep this in, has to play it towards the net. Lavallee has it. Her shot, huge block by Franklin, who puts an exclamation point on what was a fantastic performance from her and a fantastic performance from this Westman Wildcat squad, who will be going into the MFHL's regular season on the highest wave possible. Will they ever come down? Well, I'm going to be interested to see how many games this team's able to win this year, how many games they drop. Them and the Winnipeg Avros, it should be fireworks every time we get to see these teams play throughout the season. What a performance from both sides. As Indigo Stone finishes off her weekend with a shutout. Adriana Almeida was exceptional in this game. 35 shots faced, only 1 goal allowed. And the only goal that ends up beating her, it's a tough one to read for her. It's a high shot that beats her from an angle through some traffic from what I remember. Yeah, that's it for this weekend for the Avros and for the Wildcats. Thank you to everyone who tuned into this one and paid for this matchup. We hope to see you for our conclusion from Portugal Prairie Stride Place Arena this weekend for the Eastman Selects taking on the CSSHL's Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy Buffaloes coming up next. I want to thank Terrico for sponsoring the third period, supporting us this weekend, as well as to our other sponsors in Movement Fitness and Performance, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, and Elite Prospects. Avros drop their final game of the weekend to the Westman Wildcats, who are going to be taking a team picture right now. You got to absolutely love that as we sign things off. Good day, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.